This is a question I ask myself often. If AI were to disappear tomorrow, would my business still run? And would I still know what a great photograph was? And there's a conversation happening right now where people are either terrified of AI or they think it's going to take away creativity altogether. And while I don't think either is true. AI is exactly to me what Lightroom was back in the day, what the first signs of Photoshop were, what Aftershoot is, even before the AI buzz. And for me, it's a tool. I think a lot of people should consider it a tool. And there isn't a problem with it being a tool. The problem is when people stop thinking about the tool and they allow these tools to think for us. If your editing software suggests a crop, for example, if your AI culls your images, if it writes your emails, if it creates captions for you, you still have the responsibility to curate. You still have the responsibility to ensure that it's doing exactly what you need it to do. You have to ask things like, does this actually represent my brand, my artistic vision, my client experience? Because AI should be used to accelerate your expertise and not replace it. Again, these are all opinions from someone who's been in a business for a decade. For this particular video, I am going to show you something that perhaps many of you photographers already know about. Some of you don't. Some of you are already using it. But this is what I've been using before the AI buzz, and it's called Aftershoot. And in Aftershoot, what I love is that first and foremost, they are amazing when it comes to customer service, the client experience. And for me, as their client, I have felt that time and time again, they really have continued to be on brand with that. And it's amazing. Aside from it being a great software, and they actually just had an update where my goodness, it was mind-blowing. When I tell you I was not expecting all of that, it was amazing. But this morning I am getting a lot of editing out of the way. And so I wanted to just show you a little bit of, let me go ahead and do one of these. Yes. I'm also using Ecamm Live for this to create my video. So in case you're wondering what software I'm using, that's what I'm using for today. I was editing this project. Well, I'm actually in the culling process. If you don't know what the culling process is, basically after you take your images, you need to select them, right? And in this case, for this event, it was a 2-day event. I ended up taking, let me just go into my software. This is also really neat. I am using NDI Scan Converter. I have my laptop down here and I'm using my iMac. So I'm broadcasting from my iMac, recording from my iMac, and on my MacBook, I am doing my screen share. Super neat. It is a techie dream. I love, love, love when I can seamlessly put all of my equipment to work together. All right. So for this event, let me go back out into Aftershoot. Let's see if it'll show us exactly how many we imported. No. Let me go ahead and do this and see if it'll. Yeah, okay. So 2,097 images, and it called them down to 1060. Okay, so 1,060 images. And in staying on topic here with allowing AI to help you and not be perfect or fix your problems altogether, because that's impossible. No one can do that. I love that Aftershoot does its very best. I want to say it does its big 97%, which is a lot, to capture images all together to make sure that it is actually culling. And by culling, it is selecting the best images that you took for that day. So, for example, in some of these, I took multiple images, and I'll go into them in a second. Let me just keep going because I've already reviewed a lot of my cull, and I am very type A when it comes to selection, when it comes to photographing altogether, out of camera images. Like these have not been edited yet, by the way. I am very type A in the sense that I want to make sure that I'm getting things as best as possible so my process is not hectic, okay, afterwards. So that's why I'm scrolling all the way down because I want to show you. Okay, I think I stopped around here. Some of these have multiple images. So in this case, this is something that AI caught, that Aftershoot caught. It said, wait a minute, you took this image. We're going to select, it actually selected this one initially, but I also like this one. Again, going into my selections, into my AI selections and saying, this is another one. This is an example. This was like a burst, right? AI said, these two images are awesome. These, not so much. I'm okay with that. For the most part, I cruise through my selections. I don't check every single one of them because I want to trust the process. Trust me, I want to trust the process, okay? But then there are some shots that I do remember that I photographed and I'm like, no, no, no. Let me go back. This was a moment, right? And I'm capturing in my mind as I'm taking these photos. This was a moment. Let me make sure that I'm capturing the entire moment, okay? And again, none of these have been edited yet. Let me go ahead and select Q so that you can see at the bottom of, you look down here on the screen, you're able to see the settings. So in case you're like a setting junkie or you just need to know what the settings were, you can look there. This brings another point, which has nothing to do with AI, but it deals with you as the photographer on site. It's really important to, so I don't like this image here, but it's really important for you to move around. I talk a lot about this on this channel. Move around the room. I carry two camera bodies at all times. And this room specifically, just to give you an idea, this is an auditorium. I've shot here multiple times, and it tends to be very dark. And sometimes my clients, because we have different clients that use this space, the clients do not want flash. Other times they want very minimal. I will say that for this event, I only used my flash maybe less than five times. Less than five times. And those were for group photos. Everything else that you see here, no flash was used whatsoever. And in this space, you're looking at the audience. So let me go back to give you an idea of what you're looking at. So in this auditorium, you pretty much can go like this, right? Because the audience is here. So you're only able to capture like this. I can go down the steps. I can come back around, down the steps. So at all times, I'm trying to capture my audience and also ensuring that I'm not being too disruptive. I'm not, getting in the way of anything that is going to distract the audience. And it's really important to move around. It's really important because you get shots like this where for these shots, well, for these shots here, I am on the right side of the auditorium if you're looking toward the stage. And then you see the progression. Like I move around. This is that last shot. Now I'm in the middle. So I walk back up, I'm in the middle, and I'm capturing from that angle. And then I'm going to walk over to the left and capture from that angle. And again, it's moving around. It's making sure that you are as mobile as possible, as in my opinion, being less distractive not taking away attention from what's happening is also great. And really just being able to capture moments like this. Like I live for moments like this, you all. I'm not even gonna lie. I love these shots and I know that my clients do too, because oftentimes the topics that are being talked about are really serious, sometimes a little bit, like, oh, we've been here all day. And so when we have breaks like this, I'm like, yes, let's get it. And that requires me to pay attention. I wanted to grab a little bit of the behind the scenes. This is the group that's working. Just wanted to get a shot of them here. Side note, super side note, clients love that. Clients love seeing themselves behind the scenes. One thing that my client also emphasized was that they really wanted full room shots. So you do have some pockets at times where, the audience wasn't really sitting toward the front because, of course, we're people. Who wants to be the first in line? Like, who wants to be at the front? People usually sit in the back. And I just make sure that I am capturing from angles that are going to provide that. Again, I wanted to get the clients working, right? And now I'm on that other side of the room that I talked about, which involves me walking around. This is an example, a good example of, let me go ahead and move this thing here. Oh, I can't move it. Okay. This is a perfect example of different shots, right? That my AI Aftershoot caught. And this is the image that they thought was best. And if I didn't feel like it was such a great image, I would go and just look. Let me see. I honestly don't like the image overall, so I'm just gonna X that. Also, do not like this one. So we're gonna do the same thing to that. And my purpose is always to tell the story. My purpose is always to ensure that my client knows, or the people that were not able to attend, they know what happened. And based on these images, because I'm not recording video, I'm taking photos. I want to make sure that the event in itself is captured to the extent where people that were in attendance will know, like, oh wow, this was great. At this point, people started kind of dozing off a little bit or getting a little bored, but again, I have the ability to still choose what is going to be selected and what will be handed over to the client. If I allowed AI to make all of my selections, then there would be a whole lot of trash in there. And by trash, I'm saying shots that I wouldn't necessarily give to my clients. Staying on brand with not having AI perfect your overall business because that's impossible, but also keeping your hands in there, making sure that you still know what is happening. Kind of like if you had people working for you, you don't just let them take over the business. No, you allow them to do as much as they can or as much as their function requires. And you also oversee that. You have people overseeing it, or you yourself oversees that. This is another example where I'm not so sure about that first shot that AI selected. So, probably going to go and see what else there is. I don't like any of them. I'm going to scrap it because I know that I took so many images that were intentional, not just capturing whatever I felt like capturing in that moment. And this is what I love. I have been using Aftershoot before the buzz. So I've always been an advocate for it. And now with the updates that they have, if you look up here, the edit button, you're able to edit in Aftershoot and you're able to retouch in Aftershoot, which it's mind blowing. For what I do, I don't need to retouch as much. That's not a feature that is like dire for what I do. But the editing, it has taken me some time. I'm still working on actually getting my profile to where it needs to be, to where my current brand is. And that takes a while. That takes a while. And I'm okay with that because when I bet on something, when I bet on a program, when I bet on a subscription, a tool, I am going to also do my part. And my part requires me to actually do the work. And doing the work is continuing to edit, continuing to try, and training my AI. It won't happen at the first try. Like it's just, and if it does, amazing. Amazing. But if it doesn't, I am going to keep trying. And whenever I don't have time to dedicate for training the I do use another program, and it has my profile brand down to the T where I don't have to edit as much. But because I really want Aftershoot to work, I'm at it. Like I am I am working at it, and I know that eventually I'll get there. Eventually I'll get there. Or all of my out of camera images are just going to be perfect to the T. Like they're just going to, one of the two will happen. The other one definitely won't happen. But yeah, this is, I love these. I mean, with Aftershoot, I love that later on I can also auto crop. Like in edit, it's amazing. Like it'll do all of that for me, and I appreciate that because cropping can also be it can be a drag. Um, but really, that's it. I wanted to show you that AI is great. AI is still a tool. It's an agent, coworker, whatever you want to call it, but it is still a tool in the hands of a creative. It is still a tool in the hands of an artist. It is still a tool in your hands. And, if you're accepting that every AI suggestion is perfect, then you're no longer the creative in this process. And I think for me, that's a very dangerous thing. It is a very dangerous walk, in your business. So I would say keep at it, right? If you're not familiar with this process, if you don't know what it is, if you're afraid to use it, I would say give it a try, see if it works in your business, see how it can help you maximize your workflow because that's another reason why I love AI. It's another reason why I use many of the AI features because oh my goodness, it helps me with a lot. It helps me with a lot and I need that help. I really really do. So I do encourage you to give it a try because sometimes we just don't know until we actually do the thing. And again, wanted to come on here, show you this because I think it's important. I think it's important to share what is working. Sometimes people gatekeep, and it is what it is. I'm sure people have their reasons for that, but for all of you who were looking for, some answers, we're looking to dive a little bit deeper into AI, into Aftershoot and what it's all about. This is what it is, right? And if you have not yet delve into it. If you want to know a little bit more about I completely forgot. And now I remembered that I do have an affiliate link. I believe you get a discount, something of that nature. I'm not good at these things, but check it out. I'm going to leave it in the description below and definitely ask me questions about it. Um, because at the end of the day, that's what we're here for, to share with one another. And, the photographers who, in my opinion, will thrive in AI aren't the ones that are using the most tools. They're the ones with a really strong creative vision that AI simply helps us get there faster. Really, using AI to remove repetitive work, using AI to help you with your creativity or to create art, I think is great. because your clients aren't hiring your software. They're hiring your eye, they're hiring you, your charisma, your, effectiveness, how you get work done. And that is really what it is all about. So, I'll leave you with this question. Hmm. What's one task that AI has genuinely improved in your business? And what's one thing you'll never let it replace? Mm. I would love to know in the comments, and I'll see you next time.